Hi, thanks so much for joining me. So before I share our summer reading challenge books update, I want to share the fact that I'm starting a new channel. I still will be keeping this channel, but this channel will continue to be primarily homeschool and my daughter's reading journey. And so I'm starting a new channel called Reading at Dusk. I'm going to link it below. I'm also starting a new Instagram with a similar name. The name was taken on Instagram, but it's similar. I'm going to link it, and I would love for you guys who maybe share some of my same reading interests or who like following a book channel to I would love for you guys to check out my channel, Reading at Dusk. And so I will continue to share my daughter's reading on this channel and homeschool, but I'm not going to share my reading updates anymore because I think that I'm already a teeny tiny channel, on Air House. I've struggled to kind of grow since kind of starting this new channel. My last channel grew a lot faster, probably because a lot more people were homeschooling in the pandemic, and probably because I don't do as many homeschool curriculum videos as some other homeschool channels, or who knows, maybe people don't like my personality. I don't know what it is, but I've grown very, very, very slow on this channel, and that's okay with me because this channel is just something I do for fun. I like to just share books with other people and books that bring me joy and my daughter joy. And so it's okay with me. I'm always probably going to be a teeny weeny channel, regardless. On my new channel, probably the same, because I don't read a lot of new fiction. I don't read all the popular books. I'm not a super fast reader. I don't read 20, 30 books a month. I'm very picky. I don't finish DNF. I DNF a lot of books, a lot. So yeah, but that's okay. I just felt like these channels, I'm kind of been struggling aesthetically, or just like, I don't know, like just merging them together with, sharing my own interests on Air House with the books, which I have been doing, but I noticed that a lot of those videos don't get a lot of views as much as like my homeschool content. And I think some people who do follow other booktubers, not that they'll like me, but some people are discouraged from following me on Air House because they see so much homeschool content. I'm saying, I guess, like people who don't homeschool. I know I do have some people that follow me, and I'm very appreciative that don't homeschool and that they read middle grade or whatever, and they connect with my daughter's reading or maybe what I read. But I'm kind of thinking, just like, instead of meshing everything together, just creating two separate channels. So yeah, so that's my goal of what I'm doing. It's brand new. I'm starting from scratch. It's okay with me. I like a challenge. I'm gonna be starting over again, like I did with Air House from HMR Reads, which that's a long, boring story of the YouTube rules that they said I broke, basically because I had colorful thumbnails. You guys probably also noticed that I've been kind of muting my thumbnails because I'm kind of fearing the same thing with this Air House, that it's probably going to get flagged eventually or whatever, because they say that you're not supposed to make contents for kids and you're supposed to do this, but my content has never been for kids. It just so happens that my thumbnails in the past, of course the books I share are colorful, because even adult books are colorful, not, so it's like, I still don't know why, like, they mess with me so much. I'm saying I was violating COPPA. Sorry if that's confusing if you're new to my channel. I had a channel called HMR Reads over a year ago, and YouTube flagged like almost all of my videos and said that I was making content for children. So I actually deleted that channel because it was unfair to me, and then I regretted deleting it because I missed it. I missed making videos. It was a very short time period. I realized maybe only like a week or two, or I don't remember, but I really was like, that was a bad decision. But it kind of still ethically bothered me to play the game with YouTube. Like, I felt like they weren't being fair to me. Even after I spoke to multiple people at YouTube, they never could give me a really good reason for why they, like, flagged my videos and et cetera, et cetera. So I just started over from scratch, which is this channel, Air House. And I did not make that announcement on my previous channel, which had over 1,000 subscribers and was growing pretty good. Like I said, possibly because of the pandemic. But I did not do that because I never planned on making Air House. But then I did, and I'm so thankful to everyone who still followed me on Instagram, who came back, who came over, followed me on Air House. So then now I'm doing it again, but yet different content, still books, but yet now adults. So sorry if that's long and rambly, but so yeah. So I'm still kind of wanted to tell you guys that I'm kind of nervous with Air House because I don't like being in front of the camera a lot. I don't usually use myself as thumbnails. I did in some videos, but I still like to go back to doing this format of like overhead, filming. Because I do a lot of book flip throughs, and for me, I have a shoulder injury that still bothers me, and neck injury and things like that. So it's very hard for me to kind of like show books where I'm in front of the camera. And so that's always something I've struggled with also from filming. So that's part of the reason why I do these overhead videos, not only to show the text, show the book, give people a glimpse into what the content is, but also because I do have injuries, and it's very hard for me physically to do things a different way. And I'm not saying that to play the victim, because I do like this style. So on my other channel, I will still be doing this, but I will be doing a little bit more of intros with my face and things like that. But yet I still, for this channel, I'm going to pretty much go back to doing what I normally do. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing for now. I will definitely update you guys if and when YouTube starts messing with me about that, or they're unfair to me. It hasn't happened yet because I haven't reached 1,000 subscribers. Once you reach 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours, which I have the watch hours, but I don't have the subscribers, then you can get monetized, and then they view your channel, and then they start being very restrictive or viewing, like making sure you're following rules, which I am following rules, but yeah. So as of now, Air House is good. And I will let you guys know if anything changes. So yeah, I won't delete it abruptly like I did HMR Reads, but I'm not going to be happy if, because there are a lot of other channels who share books for homeschool content and they don't get flagged. So who knows? But yeah. So let me continue now with showing our summer book challenge. So I just mentioned in the intro that this channel, Air House, is going to start being my daughter's reading and homeschool only for now. I am still going to share my summer book challenge books because I already started that video on this channel, and I want to give you guys an update. So we did the summer book challenge. I'm going to link that video in case you guys haven't saw it or are interested. I'm going to link the video with the summer book challenge, and in that video it has all the links if you guys want the descriptions of the books that link to Amazon. I'm probably not going to link them in this video. Each were to read 10 books. We came up with this on our own just for fun, and so my daughter came up with the themes of the book. So it was fantasy, mystery, myth, chapter book, graphic novel, picture book, realistic fiction, nonfiction, YA, and then an over 500 pages book. So I completed mine, and my daughter is basically on the last book. So that is The Murderer's Ape, which is over 500 pages. So I'm going to show you guys really quick. I'm just going to show them really quick because I showed all of these books in that first video of our summer reading. So let me show you guys real quick. Okay, so for fantasy, she finished Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. She loves this series. So she started with the Chronicles of Crystalmancy, and she didn't like the writing. So we actually sold that book back to Half Price Books, and she got this. And she loved it. So that was what she read for fantasy. And then for mystery, she read this. It's a chapter book called The Animal Rescue Society by Elliot Schreifer. Sorry, I'm not good with names. Schrefer. Okay. So this one, she liked it. I asked her, I was like, did you like it so much? Because our library doesn't have them. I could request it. But I was like, do you love it so much that you want me to request it from the library or buy the second one? She's like, no, you don't have to like buy it or anything or request it. But she's like, I really liked it. So yeah, so that was her mystery. And then myth was this, Gods and Heroes, Mythology Around the World. So this, she really enjoyed it. And yeah, so that was her mythology. And then chapter book was the Harwood Hotel, Kelly George. I've talked about these a lot. I love these. And she finished it. Sweet Little Animal Story. So that was her chapter book. And then the graphic novel, she actually just finished this today. So the graphic novel is Encyclopedia of Early Earth. Now, I talked about this before. I think it's like I don't know. To me, it's like YA. It had, like I mentioned before, it has some nudity in it and things like that. I didn't have an issue with that, but some people might. Okay, so that was a graphic novel, and then I don't have the picture books with me for this video because we actually she checked out 6 picture books from the library, and that completed the picture book challenge. It was just 6 picture books, so she completed that. And then for realistic fiction, I know this isn't technically realistic because it's like a talking animal, but it's Clarice the Brave by Lisa McMann. And this is what she picked. It's a middle grade, like animal-based story. It has some illustrations. Let's see. So it has some black and white illustrations. So it's about a mouse, and she said she really liked it, and this is the type of book that I really like to read, so I'm going to try it too, and if I like it, I'll talk about it on my new channel. Okay, so, okay, nonfiction. So she finished her nonfiction. This was The World's Most Pointless Wonderful Animals by Philip Bunting. So she really liked this book, and she finished it. Okay, and now what's left? YA. So her YA book was this Inheritance Cycle Book 3, Brissinger, I think it's called, by Christopher I don't know if it's Poloni or Paolini, but this is like her favorite writer at the moment. She really loves his writing. And so yeah, so the Aragon series, this completed her YA. This is a good sized book. It's over 700 pages. And she really loved this book. I would like to find her some other books that are like this, that are challenging. And she really likes the writing. I don't know. I actually am not, as you guys probably know, I'm not a big fantasy reader, and I didn't really try it. But it's very complex. I looked at, he has in the back a whole like section on like just the pronunciations, which is like would be my nightmare. But for her, she found this challenging and she liked it. So he has like pronunciation guide, and then he has like the dwarf language, and then the nomad language, the Urgal language. It's all these like different made up languages, like very much fantasy. So she really, really, really loves this series. And so that was her YA pick. And then her over 500 pages book, she's still reading right now. She's 3/4 finished, and it's one of my favorite books of all time, which is The Murderer's Ape by Jacob Ogillis. I've talked about this book a lot. So yeah, so she's currently reading this right now, so I wanted to just make this video since she's going to probably finish it. She's definitely going to finish it by the end of summer. And so I bought her like a few little things, like activity books as prizes, and then I already gave them to her because I felt bad because I'm like, well, this was a pretty challenging book challenge with 2 pretty big hefty books, and then that was kind of a lot of books, plus she's already been reading stuff from the library all summer and from her personal bookshelf. So I already gave her those, and then her main gift that she wanted to pick as the reading challenge, I didn't buy for her yet because when she completes this book, I'm going to buy it. And it's basically, I'll show you guys on my Instagram. It's basically the cat from Kiki's Delivery Service. So the little plush cat, she likes animals and stuff, and that's what she wanted. And I'll probably get her a few other things. It's pretty much after The Murderer's Ape, she's completed her challenge. And if you're interested, I'm going to show you mine because I already shared those books in the first part of this video, which I'm going to link. So the first book for the challenge was fantasy, and boy, did I struggle. So the first choice that I chose was this book, book by Catherine Applegate called Inline. The Inline, and I just didn't connect with it. I think it's something my daughter will like, so I gave it to her. Of course, we share books. And so I tried the Inline, didn't connect with it. Then I tried Dealing with Dragons, which I really liked the writing of Dealing with Dragons. And my daughter read that book years ago, and she recommended it as something I might like. Now, I will say, I got halfway through it, and I don't know what it was. Maybe I'll go back to it. I just didn't finish it. I don't know. Like, I really liked the beginning of Dealing with Dragons, about the story about the unconventional princess, and then she goes and she willingly goes live with this dragon and as like a dragon's assistant kind of, and I really liked the idea of it, but then I just started getting, I don't know how to explain, like I just started losing connection with the characters, and then I was like, okay, I need to finish this fantasy. So then I had The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. This is the interactive version illustrated by, it's like Mina Lima. It's like an illustrator company, I believe, a design company. Okay. So I'm not going to go too much into my books either. I've showed this book. It's beautiful. It has like all the illustrations. And I showed this book in previous hauls and things like that. Previous, my 5th grade. Okay. So I decided to read it and I loved it. And I think I've talked about it already. But yeah, so I Googled The Wizard of Oz, what genre, and fantasy came up. It really is fantasy. My daughter was like, no, it's not fantasy, I guess because, like, the fantasy that she reads is middle grade, and it's like, I don't know, it's not all dragons or anything like that, but it really is fantasy. Like, it's like, so I'm going with that, and it fit my fantasy. Okay, so then next was mystery, and that was a Shady Hollow 2. I really, really love this mystery series. I'm probably going to be talking about it a lot on my new channel, Reading at Dusk, because I actually just pre-ordered the 3rd one, but yeah. I'm sorry, the 4th one. Yes. Is it the 3rd one or the 4th one? I'm like, feel crazy right now. Oh yeah, I think it's the 4th. I just pre-ordered the next one. I have, which one do I have in front of me? Okay. The 4th one, yes. Okay. So sorry. So I love this story, an adult animal mystery involving animals, animal crimes, and that was my mystery. And so the 3rd one was myth. Boy, did I struggle with this also. I started with Circe. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. It's an adult fiction. I just did not connect with Circe. So I was like, I'm going to this is like, I know I'm an adult and whatever. This is like a kid's illustrated nonfiction, but I searched and searched and searched for a mythology book that I would connect with. They were all like a little bit too much for me. I don't know. So I just picked this. My daughter, I've showed this book before. And yeah, so I did learn things though. Like you learn, it's not that adults can't read kids nonfiction. They absolutely can. And I read it and I enjoyed it. So yes, so this was my mythology. Okay. So my chapter book was The Harwood Hotel. As you guys noticed, my daughter's chapter book was the first one. This is the 3rd one. So I completed all 4, but I read the 3rd one for the Summer Book Challenge, and it was really good. I really loved the 4th one too. I loved all of them. It really has nice illustrations. I've talked about these a lot. So yeah, so that was my chapter book. Okay, so next is my graphic novel, and this was a reread. I did search the whole library for lots of graphic novels. I really didn't connect with them, with the ones I checked out. And I don't own a lot of graphic novels, so I just decided to reread this one, which is my favorite graphic novel of all time, which is Jane the Fox and Me, Fanny Britt and Isabel Arsenault. It's loosely based on a book within a book, which is Jane Eyre, because she's reading Jane Eyre. I've talked about this book a lot. And I'll definitely, like I said, link that video showing it more. But yeah, so that was my graphic novel. And then my picture books, I showed those, I believe, in that video I'm going to link. Yeah, so I read all 6 of the picture books. I don't have them with me. So for my realistic fiction, I read A Little Princess. And I've talked about this book before too. It's a really phenomenal children's classic that I never read before this Summer Book Challenge. And Frances Hodgson Burnett, and it's a wonderful classic about a little girl who has to go through certain things, who she has to go to this school that she has to be separated from her father, and then things happen with her father, and it's just shows a good side of humanity, and I really loved it. So that was my realistic fiction. And then for my nonfiction, I read On Mental Health by The School of Life. I really love The School of Life, but this was my nonfiction. I didn't connect with it as much as some of their other books I read by them, but I liked it. I mean, it was a pretty short read, and I really like their illustrate. They do a lot of like art. They show a lot of art illustration, and sometimes I find new artists because this is like a modern photographer. Well, I think this is like a modern photographer, but yeah, so they show a lot of artsy stuff in their books. Self-help, non-self-help books is the way I describe them. So that was my nonfiction. And then my YA. Oh my gosh, boy, did I struggle with YA. I definitely changed my YA. I went from the book Speak. It's a YA book called Speak. It's very popular. I don't know if it won awards or I just did not connect with the protagonist or the writing. I'm not saying it's not a good book. It definitely is. A lot of people love it, but I didn't connect with it. So I moved on from Speak to Perks of Being a Wallflower. Perks of Being a Wallflower, I loved. I just didn't finish it because it was too depressing. Now, I've watched the movie a million times, and I can't even watch the movie anymore. It's one of those books that's beautiful and movies that's beautiful, but it's very, very, very dark. Because especially if it's triggering for you. So it got way triggering for me, and I couldn't finish it. Not that it's not a good book. I wanted to, and I almost forced myself, but I just wasn't in a good place to finish it that week, and I didn't finish it. And it's still, I highly recommend it. It's okay. Now, so what I did finish, enough rambling, I finally got to Catcher in the Rye. So J.D. Salinger, this was a reread because I read this, like, I think in college. Oh my gosh, boy, was it a phenomenal reread. I did not connect with it in college like I did reading it at 41. Oh my gosh, like it's becoming one of my favorite, modern classics of all time. It's one of my favorite books. It's really great. I really connected with it. A lot of the stuff in this book just went over my head the first time I read it. Even like the title of the book, The Catcher in the Rye. I'm going to talk about this book because I actually just read it recently. I'm going to actually be talking about this book on my new channel, Reading at Dusk. But yeah, so that I Googled it, and it was like, The Catcher in the Rye is a YA. And I was like, I own that book. So I hurried up and fit it in. Okay. So the last book was another one that I changed, which was over 500 pages. So I started out with Lonesome Dove. Now you guys probably know that book is huge. And then I started having vision problems where I had to go order some new eyeglasses. And so it was, the text is too small and it was stressing me out. And I was like, let me just try another book, honestly, because I was really motivated to read this book because this is the sequel to The Murderer's Ape, and I've talked about The Murderer's Ape a lot, and I was so engaged to read this book. I was so interested in reading this book as a follow-up because I really, really love this author's writing. Jacob Wegelius. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. I said Wegelius, but I don't know if it's Wegelius. I'm not sure. Okay, so Sally Jones and the False Rose is the sequel to The Murderer's Ape. I didn't like it as much as The Murderer's Ape. The Murderer's Ape is just one of those books. It's just so special. But I did enjoy reading it. It was a little bit more adventure and kind of like complicated things going on in the plot. Whereas I felt The Murderer's Ape, of course, still had things like that, but it wasn't, I don't know, like The Murderer's Ape is just, it flowed more, in my opinion. Like, kind of some of the things the characters did in this book didn't really make a lot of sense to me. The protagonist, Sally Jones, and the chief, who is like her best friend. I don't know, but yeah, so this fit my over 500 pages because it has almost exactly, it has like 520-ish pages. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't absolutely adore it like The Murderer's Ape, but I enjoyed it. So that was it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye.